There are three ways you can get your hands on a Ringworld segment. The first, and probably easiest, is to conquer another civilization that have a Ringworld. Hey presto, you've got a Ringworld segment. Next, you can build a Ringworld segment from scratch. That is the most time intensive and resource intensive method, and it does require more ascension perks and technology than any of the other methods. And finally, you could restore a broken Ringworld segment if you find a broken Ringworld somewhere. For instance, the Cybrex Ringworld, or if you manage to take a system from the Fallen Empires with a broken Ringworld, that will do it for you. And if you enjoy this video, please construct that like button. Repairing a ruined ring section is rather simple. First, you have to find one, like this one I have found here, and then you have to claim it inside your borders. Then you have to get the Mega Engineering Rare Technology. This is going to give you Megastructure Restoration, which will enable you to restore this ruined ring section. Then it's as easy as paying 10,000 alloys and waiting the appropriate amount of time. Once this ruined Ringworld has been restored, we can send a colony ship here and we have a Ringworld segment. Okay, so repairing a Ringworld segment, definitely one of the easier methods, but let's say you don't have any of those inside your borders and you can't find any in the galaxy. We now want to build a Ringworld from scratch. How do we do that? Well, step one, you must complete or restore a megastructure. For instance, here I have completed the Science Nexus megastructure. It's easier again if you're able to restore this, as it will go from being ruined up to being complete in a single restoration. So that's one click. On the other hand, if you want to build something like a Science Nexus, you first have to build the construction site and then build multiple levels, spending quite a lot of time and resources to get it finished. Once you have completed a megastructure, you can then take Galactic Wonders, which will give you access to the Ringworld technology. The Ringworld technology is in engineering, and basically you just need to research that and we'll suddenly be good to go. We can start constructing Ringworlds. Grab your construction ship, head on over to a star that you'd like to construct a Ringworld around, right click and then attempt to build the megastructure. But there are some rules. The main rule is we cannot build in a system with habitable planets. There are two options for dealing with this. First, you could crack any planets in that system, allowing you to build the Ringworld. Probably not something I'd recommend, but still possible. And the second, just find another system with no habitable planets. Now I can build the Ringworld site. It's going to cost me quite a lot of influence and 500 alloys. Alright, here we have our site. Now I can upgrade it to the Ringworld frame. There we are. Now I've completed the Ringworld frame. I still don't have a Ringworld segment. At this point, you are now in the same place as anyone else that has a ruined Ringworld. As you can see, that is why getting a ruined Ringworld and upgrading that is much easier and faster. You can do that quite early on in the game. You'll also notice that all of the other planets and celestial bodies in this system are gone. Where did they go? Well, they've gone into the construction of our Ringworld. Now, just like before, I can complete a Ringworld section and allow myself to have a Ringworld. Here we have the completed Ringworld, and we are a biological empire. Yes, as you might be able to tell, we have synthetically ascended at some point. That's why we've got lots and lots of machines. But we are still biological, and that means that the districts we have available to us are set like this. We can have city segments providing lots of housing, a few enforcers and a few clerks. Commercial segments, we've actually got an extra +2 merchants here due to the tradition. Mercantile gives us an extra 2 merchant jobs when we've completed commercial enterprise tradition on our Ringworld. Research segments providing us with lots of researcher jobs. Agricultural segments, yes, we're getting some farmer jobs. And then industrial segments with a 50-50 mix of metallurgists and artisans. As a biological empire, the main things you're really going to get out of a Ringworld are either research. You can stack so many researchers on this planet that it is silly, because you can get up to 100 researcher jobs just from these research segments alone. And then you could even start including research labs and research institutes on the planet for even more research output. Otherwise, a trade value Ringworld is also quite feasible, this is going to mean you're going to get lots and lots of trade from having lots and lots of merchant jobs. Just from the commercial segments alone, you can stack up to 40 merchants on this world. Yes, you can have agricultural segments which will provide you some food, but the resource output in terms of pop efficiency at this point of the game, if you're trying to get food, I really don't think it's there. And if you're going for or want something like an industrial world with lots and lots of metallurgists producing lots and lots of alloys, you're much better off with something like an ecumenopolis because you can't shift these jobs around. If we look over at our colony designations, first off we have the colony designation, that's because we are under 5 population. We have Ringworld, that's going to give us a nice plus 5% from jobs, that's pretty handy. Research Ringworld, that's a great one, giving us an extra 15% research output, really good. Agricultural Ringworld, giving us an extra plus 25% food from farmers, that's really no better than a regular planet. Commercial Ringworld giving us plus 20% extra trade value, that's the same as Urban World designation. And Bureaucratic Center giving us some extra administrative capacity, really not worth it. If you're building a Ringworld to be a bureaucratic center, you need to take a long hard look at yourself. So as you can really see, the main purpose with a Ringworld should primarily be research, and then if you do need it, something like trade is also valuable as well. Don't be afraid not to overly specialize though, because you can still get a large number of jobs from something like an industrial segment. Just 2 or 3 of these will give you 10 to 15 metallurgists, very useful. And if you really do need the farmers, yes, agriculture segments are fine too. Here is that same Ringworld. I have filled it up with 158 pops, and I'm now producing a phenomenal amount of research. We are getting oh my goodness, we're getting 4.2k of research from this one planet because we have so many researchers. But what are the differences if you are a biological hive mind empire? Well, let's take a look. First, you have a hive mind segment. That's instead of the housing segment. This is going to provide us with maintenance drone jobs and some synapse drone jobs, and still a whole buttload of housing. Then, instead of the trade segments, we have generator segments, giving us 15 generator district jobs, in this case tech drone jobs, providing us with lots of energy income. And finally, our industrial segments now provide only metallurgist jobs, or in this case foundry drones. That is very useful. That actually means that a Ringworld could become much more specialized towards alloys if you are a hive mind player. Though of course you still have access to research segments, and a research focused Ringworld should probably be your primary concern. Interestingly, if we drop the fleshy skin and biological organs and we go with a machine intelligence hive mind instead, it is interestingly completely identical to the biological hive mind. We still get access to agricultural segments, which means we can produce food, even if previously we had no food production, we had no food output, we had nothing going on with food. I really wouldn't recommend as a machine intelligence you build these agricultural segments, but just note that they're available to you. Something I've not really talked about is the resource upkeep of these segments. It's really important to note you do need rare resources in order to build them. In the case of research segments, you're going to need exotic gases. With your trade or generator segments, you'll need rare crystals. With your industrial segments, you'll need volatile motes. With your agricultural segments, you'll also need volatile motes. But with your nexus, city or hive segments, you won't need any rare resources. Those are kind of free. This means you will need some sort of economic output on planets outside of your Ringworld in order to support these segments. Of course, a Ringworld is only as good as the resource base you have to support it. If you'd like to know more about rural worlds, the economic backbone of any empire, click the video on screen now.